What if the world had really ended on December 31st, 1999? Not because of war, not because of nature, but because of a tiny glitch in the machines we trusted with everything. The clock struck midnight, the music blasted, and then the computers fought back. In today's video, we're diving into Y2K, a bizarre and brutal horror comedy that imagines a world where the infamous Y2K bug wasn't just a scare, it was real. This isn't just a party movie, it's a wild mix of 90s nostalgia, over-the-top gore, and tech gone totally insane. And hidden beneath the chaos, a few unexpected cameos, forgotten fears from the real Y2K panic, and a story that says more about us than we might think. You'll learn what this movie really got right, where it falls apart, and why it's not just another mindless teen flick. We'll unpack the plot, explore the deeper meaning, and reveal some lesser-known details you won't hear anywhere else. So stay with us till the end, especially if you remember the days of dial-up internet, Tamagotchis, and a time when everyone thought their microwave might explode at midnight. Welcome to Movies Review, your home for deep dives into films that are strange, thrilling, and unforgettable. If you enjoy hidden gems, creepy twists, and stories that stick with you, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a breakdown. Now let's rewind to the night the world almost ended. Let's rewind to the final hours of the 20th century. It's New Year's Eve, 1999. The air is buzzing with excitement, panic, and confusion. People are counting down to midnight, but not just for fireworks. All across the world, there's a strange fear crawling in the background. The fear that computers might fail, that planes could fall from the sky, that banks could collapse. This fear had a name, Y2K. And that fear is exactly what fuels the twisted heart of the movie we're talking about today, Y2K the film, produced by the ever-bold A24, known for breaking the rules of traditional horror, and directed by Kyle Mooney, a former SNL star with a taste for absurdity. This movie dives headfirst into the biggest tech scare in history, but with a wild, bloody, and hilarious twist. Y2K is not just a disaster film. It's part teen party comedy, part sci-fi horror, and completely soaked in late 90s nostalgia. Think neon lights, big headphones, chain wallets, and slow-loading internet pages. The film brings all of that back and then tears it apart when the Y2K bug becomes real. Instead of a quiet midnight glitch, we get a violent digital apocalypse. It's a unique ride. The tone bounces between ridiculous and disturbing. One minute, you're laughing at an awkward dance-off. The next, someone's being shredded by a killer microwave. It's this strange balance, humor colliding with horror, that makes Y2K different from anything else in its genre. It celebrates the vibe of 1999 while also asking, what if all our worst fears had come true? In the middle of this techno nightmare, we meet our unlikely heroes. First up, there's Ely, played by Jaden Martell. He's the kind of teen you've seen before, awkward, shy, a little out of place. He's not at the party because he wants to be cool. He's there because he's got a crush. That crush is Laura, the pretty, popular girl who's out of his league but still shows him a hint of kindness. She becomes more important than anyone expects. Ely isn't alone. He's joined by his best friend, Danny, played by Julian Dennison. Danny is loud, fearless, and completely chaotic. If Ely is the brain, Danny is the reckless energy. Their friendship gives the movie some heart and also plenty of comic relief, especially when things start to go very, very wrong. Then there's the rest of the party crowd, a stoner who lives in his own world, a punk girl who's always ready to fight, a wannabe rapper with way too much confidence. These aren't deep characters, but they add flavor. Each one fits into a very specific type of 1990s teen. You've seen them in old MTV videos, cheesy mall commercials, and low-budget teen dramas. Here, they're exaggerated on purpose. not just to make you laugh, but to remind you of a time when youth culture was louder and messier. But the real surprise? Fred Durst, yes, the lead singer of Limp Bizkit, appears as himself. It's weird, it's random, and somehow it works. His cameo doesn't just add shock value, it adds to the surreal anything can happen feeling that this movie thrives on. And in a film where toasters can kill and Tamagotchis can turn evil, Fred Durst fighting robots feels almost normal. The cast doesn't try to be too serious. This isn't a deep character drama, but it knows what it's doing, giving us enough personality to care about who survives, while still letting the madness take over. The plot of Y2K moves fast, just like the chaos it unleashes. It begins with Ely and Danny, two socially awkward teens who crash a big New Year's Eve party. It's the final night of 1999, and everyone's dressed up, drinking soda from red cups and dancing to old-school hip-hop. The vibe is fun, loud, carefree. But there's a ticking time bomb in the background. The fear that once the clock strikes 12, something might go wrong. And it does. The countdown ends, confetti flies, and then the screens go black. Suddenly, computers start buzzing, wires come alive, and old electronics turn violent. This is where the movie shifts from teen comedy to full-blown horror. It's not just one machine, it's all of them. A blender spins out of control and kills a partygoer. A microwave explodes. Tamagotchis grow fangs. Technology, once harmless and helpful, becomes a deadly army. The Y2K bug has turned real, and it's not about glitches, it's about war. The teens are forced to run, the streets are in chaos. They hide in basements, jump through windows, and scream for help. And just when it seems hopeless, a discovery is made. Somewhere in the network is a central code, a digital brain, a system calling itself the Amalgamation, is controlling everything. Laura, the girl Eli likes, steps up. Turns out she's smarter than she lets on. She finds a way to trace the kill code, a program that can shut down the machines, but it's buried deep and time is running out. What follows is a wild race through broken streets, power plants, and flaming offices. In the final act, the group faces off against the Amalgamation in a twisted digital showdown. They upload the kill code, the lights go out, the machines fall still, but just before the credits roll, there's one final flicker on the screen, a blinking light, a soft robotic laugh. Maybe, just maybe, the system isn't dead after all. Y2K isn't just about fear, it's also packed with fun, and that's where it really shines. First, let's talk about the nostalgia. The movie is dripping with late 90s vibes, from low-resolution graphics to floppy disks, from chain wallets to frosted tips. It recreates the look and feel of 1999 in a way that feels both hilarious and strangely accurate. If you lived through that time, you'll catch tons of little details that make you smile, like old-school instant messaging sounds and those weird transparent phones. Then there are the kills. This isn't your typical slasher film. Eli the horror comes from technology, everyday items turning deadly. There's a death by electric toothbrush, a razor that flies through the air, even a CD player that goes berserk. It's absurd, gory, and totally unexpected. Each scene is both brutal and funny, like watching a cartoon with real blood. The mix of comedy and chaos is what keeps the movie moving. You never know what's coming next. One moment a character is making a stupid joke and the next, a refrigerator is eating someone alive. It sounds insane, and it is, but that's the point. It's a ridiculous world, and the film embraces that energy from start to finish. And let's not forget Fred Durst. His appearance adds pure madness. Seeing him swing a bat at evil robots while his own music plays in the background, that's the kind of meta, self-aware humor this movie thrives on. It knows it's weird, and it wants you to enjoy every second of it. If you like your horror with a side of humor, and if you're a fan of nostalgic chaos, then this movie gives you exactly what you're looking for, and more. While Y2K is bold and wildly creative, it's not without its bugs. And we're not just talking about the Y2K kind. Beneath the flashing lights, bloody chaos and nostalgic beats, there are some real cracks in the code that stop this movie from being great. The biggest issue? The characters feel flat. Eli is meant to be our lead, but he lacks depth. We're told he's awkward and has a crush, but that's about it. He doesn't grow much, and by the end, he still feels like the same shy kid. Danny, his best friend, adds energy, but often becomes just comic relief. Laura starts off interesting, smart and brave, but her potential fades halfway through. The side characters are exaggerated stereotypes. That's fine for laughs, but it makes it harder to care when things go wrong. We don't feel connected to them. We just watch them. Then there's the pacing. The movie kicks off with excitement. It pulls you into the world fast. But once the machines start attacking, the middle part of the film slows down. Scenes feel stretched out, like the story is trying to fill time rather than move forward. Characters wander. Some conversations go in circles. It loses the momentum it worked hard to build. The humor is also hit or miss. Some jokes land perfectly, especially when they play off the weirdness of the 90s. But other times, it feels like the movie is trying too hard to be funny. There are moments that aim for quirky, but come off as awkward. Some scenes feel like sketches that didn't quite make it on SNL. And finally, the tone isn't always balanced. The movie shifts quickly between absurd comedy and bloody horror, but not always smoothly. One moment, you're laughing at a cheesy dance move, and the next, someone's being torn apart by cables. The sudden changes can feel jarring, like two different movies mashed together. In short, Y2K has the right ingredients: nostalgia, gore, and madness. But the execution stumbles. It's fun in the moment, but afterwards you might realize it didn't leave much behind. Like an old VHS tape, flashy, loud, but a bit fuzzy when you really look close. At its core, Y2K is a love letter to a time when the internet was still a mystery, and technology felt both magical and dangerous. It's messy, loud, and at times completely unhinged. And that's what makes it entertaining, but it's also the reason why it won't be for everyone. This is a movie made for a very specific audience. If you were alive in the 90s, you'll find a lot to enjoy. The clothes, the music, the old-school gadgets. Even the dialogue captures that era, using slang and references that feel authentic. It's like being dropped into a time capsule, but with killer appliances. From a filmmaking point of view, it's clear that the creators wanted to do something different. They weren't interested in making a traditional horror movie or a standard teen comedy. They aimed for chaos, and they got it. The problem is, chaos only works for so long. Without strong characters or a tightly written plot, that chaos can start to feel empty. But that doesn't mean the movie fails. It succeeds at what it sets out to do: entertain, surprise, and tap into a forgotten fear. The idea that something as small as a date on a calendar could crash the world is funny now, but back then, people were really scared. Y2K takes that fear and spins it into something absurd and exciting. So, if you're looking for deep meaning or emotional arcs, you might be disappointed. But if you're in the mood for something totally unhinged, full of weird deaths, nostalgic throwbacks, and a cameo you won't see coming, then this is the movie for you. In the end, Y2K feels like a glitchy video game, fun while it's running, but not built to last. And maybe that's exactly the point. So, is Y2K worth your time? The short answer? Yes, but only if you know what you're getting into. This isn't a polished masterpiece. It's a strange, bloody, often hilarious ride through a version of the past that never happened, but probably should have. It takes a real-world fear from 1999 and turns it into something wild and unpredictable. That alone makes it different from most horror or comedy movies we see today. If you're the kind of viewer who enjoys throwback aesthetics, offbeat humor, and unexpected horror, this movie delivers. It's not afraid to be weird, It celebrates the bizarre. And even when it stumbles, it keeps your eyes glued to the screen just to see what insane thing might happen next. The flaws are clear: shallow characters, uneven pacing, and jokes that sometimes miss. But the movie doesn't pretend to be anything else. It knows exactly what it is. A love letter to an era, a parody of a panic, and a chaotic scream into the digital void. Our final score, 6 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's bold, creative, and absolutely one of a kind. Watch it with friends, watch it for the madness, and whatever you do, don't trust your toaster. Thank you for watching this breakdown of Y2K. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more unique, weird, or chilling movie reviews, be sure to subscribe to Movies View and click that bell so you never miss a moment of madness. Until next time, stay safe,